Good afternoon. This is the online tutorial class for financial management on Unit 7, Estimating Risk and Return. Now we look at the first questions. How may the magnitude of the market risk premium impact people deserve to buy stock? Now we need to look at several words: magnitudes, market risk premium, risk averse. Okay, several words. Now magnitude is about the level of the market risk premium, and market risk premium basically is the market return minus the risk-free rate, and that will be the return for compensating the investor invest in the financial market, and they bear the market risk, and that's why they got this market risk premium to compensate the risk they are facing. And that's why for this one we need to look at the general behavior of all the people, and you will find that we have a research find that people are risk adverse. What is the meaning of risk adverse? And that means everyone who tries to avoid risk. They don't like risk, and that's why people will have different level of the risk adverse. That is the key things, and that's why because of that, people who have a lower level of the risk adverse, that means they are more willing to buy those stocks with high risk. However, you will find that most of the people are high level of risk adverse. That means they are not willing to buy stock with high risk. Instead, they will try to buy the stock with low risk. Okay, that will be the phenomenon of most of the investor. And because of that, you will find that the level of the market risk premium will affect people who buy stock and the type of the stock they will buy, because different stock will have different risk level, and will based on those risk level, because they are more sensitive to the market risk premium, the beta, to determine the risk level of the concerning stock. And because of that, we can make a conclusion: the magnitude of the market risk premium will affect people deserve to buy stock. Second questions. Determine what level of market efficiency each event is consistent with the following. Now we have four different situations. Okay, the first one: immediately after an earning announcement of the stock price jump and then stay at the new level. Now look at this one, and you will find that there is a new information being announced by the company, and that means there is those internal information, and after it have been announced, everyone will jump to buy the stock because the earning is good, and that's why the stock price will be jump up, and finally is stay at this new level. And because of the news have been announced, everyone got the information and keep the stock on hand, and finally the stock price doesn't fall back to the original, and that means the market a semi-strong form efficiency level, and that is illustrate those information, including the public information, are being reflected in the stock price. Okay, second one: the CEO buy 50,000 shares of his company, and the stock price doesn't change. Now this one illustrated that the CEO is the senior staff of the company. He should know about the internal information, private hold information. But however, you will find that even he buy the stock, and the stock price doesn't change any, and it illustrated that the share price have already include or reflect those information, private hold information already, and that's why there is no change of the stock price. Even the insider, okay, buy the stock of the company, and that's why this market should be a strong form market. Okay, the third one, and the stock price immediately jump when a stock split is announced, but then we trail half the gain over the next day. Now we need to define what is stock split. Why stock split is a good message to the investor. Now stock split means for every share will be divided into several. That means that will increase the number of the share available in the market, and it will also encourage the trading of the concerning stock. And because of that, most often stock split is a good message to the investor. And because of that, and you will find that most often when a company announce they have a stock split, the stock price will increase, because that will be possible increase the trading volume, and also the price per share will be lower, and that's why more investor can afford to buy the share. And because of that, you will find that the stock price will increase, jump up. But you will find that after the announcement, the stock price already jump up, and then it fell back half of the gain over the next day, and that means you will find that the stock price is overreact, and also it doesn't reflect all the informations, even those are public information and trading informations. And because of that, we can say that this market is not efficient or weak form efficiency market. Okay, better to use weak form rather than not efficient. Okay, because we have three: strong, semi-strong, and weak form, right? Okay, that's why preferably we will write weak form rather than not efficient. Okay, and then the last one, an investor analyze the company quarterly and annual balance sheet and the income statement, and looking for undervalued stock. The investor earn about the same return as the S&P 500 index. Now this one you will find that although the investor tries to find the underpricing stock, but finally he's just got the same result as the S&P 500 index. As we all know that this S&P 500 index is the proxy of the market, right? Okay, that's why what he earned is just being compensated for the market risk, and that's why what he earned is just the market risk premium only. And because of that, it reflect the market, the stock have reflect all the information, including the trading volume and the public information, but doesn't include any pirate hole, and that's why that is a semi-strong form market. Okay. Now for this question, you should first of all define, especially for the presentation group, you should define what is an efficiency market. That will be focused on what kind of things, and you just discuss on the theory first, and then we will discuss on each of the item, each of the part of these questions, and that will be a more detailed and precise. Okay, next questions. Compare and contrast the assumption that need to make to compute a required return using CAP model and the constant growth rate model. That's why the question requires you to compare these two models. Now, first of all, before we start to discuss and to compare and contrast, better to define and also find out what are the requirements of this model, what are the assumptions, and then you may construct a table to compare and contrast. Okay, first of all, based on the theory, and you will find that for the first one, to calculate the required return rate, and that is the CAP model, and the formula will be we'll make use of the risk-free rate added with the beta times the market return minus the risk-free rate Okay, that will be the required return of the cap model. And by looking at that, we need to know about the risk-free rate, the beta, and the market return. Okay, then the second one is using the expected market return to calculate the constant growth. And the constant growth model and the formula will be D1 over P naught, and then add up with the growth rate. Okay, that's why we need to know about the dividend in the year one and the original value of the investment, the P naught, and also the growth rate of the dividend. Okay, and you will find that for the first one, the assumption is that we need to know so many things. That means we need to make the assumption on the market return and also the beta and also the risk-free rate. And that's why all this will be make an assumption because those figures is based on the historical data, right? But now we want to look into the future, and that's why that will be the expected one, the future one, forecasting one. Okay, because of that, we need to estimate and to make the assumption to find out all this important information so that we can work out the required return rate based on the cap model. And but the second one, the constant growth model, we will require to know about the dividend of the company are being paid out in the year one, and then we will make the assumption that the dividend payout amount will be keep on growth in a constant rate, and also what will be the growth rate. We need to make the assumption. We need to estimate, and also what will be the amount that will be being paid out in the year one or the dividend. And that's why all this are required to make assumption, but based on different information and to estimate what is the required return. Okay, and but no matter how, both method require very difficult assumption because those things is difficult to determine, and the market is always fluctuate, and there are so many factors that will affect all this kind of the factors, and because of that, it's not easy to estimate the expected required return, no matter which model. Okay, and that will be a conclusion on that. Okay, then another question is about asking you to work out the market risk premium. Now, the question provides you the average annual return of the S&P 500 index from 1986 to 1995. Okay, and that is the 10-year result was 15.8%. And the average annual T-bill yield during the same period was 5.6%. And the question asking you to work out the market risk premium for this 10 years. And basically, you will find that this S&P 500, I already mentioned, is the proxy of the market return, right? Okay, that's why this 15.8 is the market return. But this market return include the risk-free rate, right? Okay, that's why the risk-free rate, the T-bill, the rate, the interest rate for the T-bill is stand for the risk-free rate, and because of that, this 5.6% is the risk-free rate. Okay, because of that, we can work out the market risk premium. That is using the market return minus the risk-free rate, then we can work out the market risk premium, and that will be 10.2%. Okay, another question, and asking you to use the cap required return to work out the concerning company required return. And this one is Nanometrics industry has a beta of 3.15. Now, this is very sensitive to the market risk, market, uh, the market return. Okay, and you'll find that this is over a 1, right? 3.15. Okay, if the market return is expected to be 10% and the risk-free rate is 3.5%, and what is nanometrics required return? Now, according to the question, according to the formula, okay, and you'll find that we can make use of the cap model formula to work out the required return of this company. Okay, the risk-free rate 3.5%, and the beta is 3.15, and market return 10%, and the risk-free rate 3.5%. Then we can work out this company have a required return 23.98%, very high required return. That's why the risk is very high. That's why the investor require a very high return for invest in this company. Otherwise, they may not be justified or worth to invest, because the risk is so high, but the return is so low, and then you may not invest, right? Okay, another questions. That will be about another company, and that will be Universal Forest, and the current price is 57.5, and it is likely to pay dividend 0.26 dividend next year. And since the analysts estimate Universal Forest will have a 9.5% growth rate, what is the required return? Now this one is asking through the use the constant growth model to estimate the required return of this Universal Forest company. Okay, because of that we adopt the formula. Okay, and the dividend paid in next year 0.26 will be the D1, and then the stock price currently 57.5, and the growth rate 9.5%. Okay, easy. Okay, then we can work out the required return of this Universal Forest company should be 9.95%. Okay, that's why we will based on that to evaluate whether we should invest in this company or not. Okay, another company, and that will be make use of the cap model to evaluate whether the stock price of a company is overpricing or underpricing. Now look at this question mentioned about the manager believe his firm will earn 40% return next year, and the firm has a beta of 1.2, and the expected return of the market is 11%, and the risk-free rate is 5%, and ask you to work out what the return of the firm should earn given this level of the risk, and determine whether the manager is saying the firm is undervalued or overvalued. Now that's why we will based on all that using the cap model to work out the required return of this company. Okay, and the risk-free rate 5%. Okay, and then the beta of this company 1.2, and the market return 11, and that's why we can substitute into the formula risk-free rate, beta, market return, risk-free rate, and finally we can work out the expected return for this company should be at 12.2%. 12.2%. But you will find that the manager believe he can earn 14% out of this company, and because of that the manager assume he can earn more, and because of that current price should be undervalued. Okay, undervalued, and that's why you give some extra return for the managers, and that's why that should be undervalued. Okay, undervalued. Okay, next one is about the portfolio beta, and for this one is make use of the weighted average calculation. Now assume that you own 10,000 of Olympic Steel stock, that has a beta of 2.2, and you also own 7,000 of rent a center, and the beta is 1.5. Another one, you own 8,000 of Lincoln Educational Company, and the beta is 0.5. And what is the beta of your portfolio? Now, for calculation of the weighted average, and first of all, we need to know about the total of the investment of yourself. Okay, that's why you have invest 10,000, 7,000, 8,000 into three different stocks, and that's why you need to add them up. The total investment is 25,000. Okay, according to that, we can work out the weighted average percentage of each stock investment. Okay, that's why Olympics skill, that will be 10,000 over 25,000, and we have invest 40%. That is the portion, the percentage of the total investment. And rent a center, that will be 28%. Lincoln Educational Company, 32%. Now this three end up together is 100, right? Okay, because of that, according to the weighted average, we times their respective beta. Okay, for the Olympic skill, that will be 0.4 times the 2.2 beta. And then Olympics, 0.28 times 1.5. And Lincoln Educational Company, 0.32 times 0.5. And finally, we can work out this portfolio overall average. The beta is 1.46. Okay, and that can help you to know about, okay, what is the portfolio beta situation, and let you know about your investment. Okay, that will be the last question. If you have any question, you may ask me in the chat room.